We are live to
All right.
tape here at the beautiful Reeves Stadium with the coach, Gino DeMarco. So you're a grandfather again.
Thank the Lord. That's all I can say is thank
A
the
baby
Lord.
boy.
Yeah, second grandson, sixth grandchild overall. And this one, he was born 4 o'clock on Monday. We were on the practice field, and I got to see it by way of text.
Well,
Not see it, but
I know what you mean.
so
Congratulations.
nothing's better than when you get those exclamation points of he's beautiful and perfect, and thank God for a healthy child.
Yep, amen to that. So someone that was born in July of 1927, I was just looking at all the wonderful stuff that you have in the trophy room.
I was born then?
No,
Okay.
even though it feels that way sometimes. Our former principal, Bill Edwards.
Wow.
Listen to me. Do you have any idea what kind of an athlete he was?
That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
I know, but I mean, I always respected the guy, and he was always good to me, and knew my parents real well, obviously born in that same decade. This guy not only was a great athlete, he was an assistant basketball coach, a head basketball coach, a golf coach. I mean, at New Brighton, what an incredible legacy.
Incredible legacy. It's older people in New Brighton know about his legacy, but he had a legendary career in everything that he did.
So-
Education, just helping in local politics, helping as a coach, and he raised some great kids. They're just tremendous people.
Guess who is going to be with me a week from today at the Larry Bruno Museum? The Beaver Valley chapter of football officials who were celebrating their 100th anniversary. Speaking of the 20s, 1925, and Johnny Ludwig and company.
Well, John's going to be there. Good.
Yeah,
And
they're
a
all going to be
classmate of
there.
mine. Absolutely. The 100th
Amazing.
year.
And some of the
Wow.
legends, people like Jim Irons,
All
names,
of them.
Sam Adams.
Yeah. Does Lefty know that?
He will.
He will.
Hey, how do you get along with officials when you see them not on the football field?
I get along with them while they're on the field. They know the bannering back and forth is gamesmanship, and I try to help them out, Rob. I really do.
That's
Because
because you're a good man.
But sometimes they don't listen to me.
All right. One thing that's been listening to you is this football team, this offense. I mean, once again, Romano has an incredible performance against Allegheny. You win big. You're undefeated in the conference, 2-2 on the year. Grove City, television here Saturday night. Things are moving along swimmingly, but let's always do the X and O's because he's always trying to do the deep dive to get better. How do you really throw in a wrinkle or two when every team you're going to face, even though all these numbers are nice, they kind of know what you're going to do more times than not, throw that football. So what do you keep up your sleeve to keep them on their heels?
It's an old album that people had in the 70s. I think it came out in the late 70s. We're living a grand delusion, man. It sticks. That's what this is. It's a grand delusion. Like, we played 3 good games, all right? And they've played against 3 national powers, all right?
Mm-hmm.
They are very, very good. Now we get a chance to see what we're made of.
So I have Jerry Schmidt of Duquesne on every week. I talked to him about this. I talked to my co-host about it, Greg Diolis, and I'm going to talk to you about it. Recently, there's been some news concerning some athletic directors reaching out to other schools to say, hey, look, we're trying to get our act together. Let the clock run and have a little mercy on us. I'm just curious. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah. For someone who's gotten beaten badly, and for someone who's, there was a couple games where we were on the other end of that, but I feel for these programs. I mean, I really do. I think the running clock thing in high school is a good idea.
Okay.
I don't think the idea of we're not going to show up because we have no shot. I don't think that does it. You're either going to have a football program or you're not, in my opinion. I think don't play the grand illusion of where we have a football program, but there's no way we can compete with you, so we're not going to show up. That just doesn't jive well with me.
Watch how
but
this.
I'm nobody. What am I?
Well, anyway, this is how this thing all comes together. This is how my analytical mind works. So now that we've talked about all of that, where is this game of football headed? And I'm going to explain. Earlier today from the home studio, I was talking about the hybrid athlete.
Yeah.
Nick Herbig, what he's doing, the young man out of
Yeah.
Wisconsin. Not too big, not too small, can fly to the football, great speed, but a little bit of power behind it. Kind of what we were hoping Ryan Shazier would have done, sadly, but he was injured. What Troy Polamalu did. It's becoming more so on both sides of the football at every level. So someone that is 5'9" can play this game. But the playbook evolving, you're evolving now as a coach, changing things up offensively. And you have all these other sports. I mean, I got here earlier today and I saw some young student athletes out, chipping a few golf balls. So where is King football at all levels headed, do you think? Where are we right now?
It's an incredible market that, for whatever reason, on the NFL level and on the major college level, it continues to grow. I think if you looked at the athletic profile of where we're headed in football, if we just look over here onto that hardwood, I think there's a number of extremely talented basketball players at Division I universities that would fit that hybrid athlete that you talked about. Either on usually, and that's where it started. It started with the tight ends that can line up all over the field. And
look what Darnell Washington has done. It's another offensive lineman.
Yeah, and I'd be surprised if you don't start to see more hybrid type tight end receivers coming from major college basketball programs where, they may not be drafted in the NBA, but they could somebody's going to take a shot, develop them.
Speaking of that hardwood, this is amazing to me how so many other sports are in the spotlight now. And during my play-by-play days, because I was the big man on campus, basically selling the advertising, doing the play-by-play, I sold everything and I did play-by-play for everything, from high school wrestling to soccer. I even did volleyball back in the day. How about where volleyball's headed right now? Women's volleyball is incredible. Look at the women at the University of Pittsburgh. They're a national powerhouse.
Well, look at Pitt.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm talking about.
I think women's volleyball has that market to continue to grow. I had a few daughters that played that sport. I think it's just a tremendous sport for women. It'll continue to grow, especially in this area. It's funny that you brought that up. I was just wondering about that myself. The growth of women's volleyball in this area is.
But what's great about Geneva, you can play all of the above, men and women, and this is an incredible campus. And let me tell you how this thing is so connected.
Well, our women's volleyball program's really good here.
I know. Listen, you guys, and not to mention this campus, the new Welcome Center being built, Macero, thumbs up, good friends, Costa Construction, good friends, thumbs up. But this is how this all connects. So I've been talking a lot about the new airport terminal, okay?
Yes.
The 1.7, you probably know where I'm going with this, $1.7 billion project. Went out there and had an interview with somebody on social media a few weeks back, and coming up on my show in a couple of days on the radio, Paul Hoback is going to be on. And I find out today in the Beaver County Times, he went to school here.
Yes.
Went to Ambridge High School, but graduated from Geneva, getting ready to take a new job in Sarasota, Bradenton, where he'll be the CEO of the airport down there. But he's been on this project for 12 years. I mean, another Geneva alum making a major splash in this region. I mean, the guy who really project manager for the new airport terminal.
The whole airport revitalization is just, I marvel at it because it's going to be more efficient, more effective, allow for more transportation of what consumers are demanding right now. And do you remember that when it was built at one time, the amount of flights that were going into Pittsburgh was, I've heard was top 5 in the country.
Beautiful thing, man.
Beautiful thing. And then, so I think it's a great example for this. So you lose the number one reason why you built the airport in U.S. Air. And after, we're scratching our head saying, what are we going to do about it? Somebody actually sits down and says, let's do something about it. And they, revitalize it, come up with another idea. I mean, that's what happens. We were just talking earlier about, I don't know, whether it's reinventing yourself or learning something new, you have to. It's called growth. And if you don't grow, you die.
And here's the best part. Not a single cent of taxpayer money was spent. But you've got brands like American Airlines, which has reinvented itself, formerly part of U.S. Air. Incredible. Lots of thousands of jobs here in Western Pennsylvania, 6,000 alone who work at that airport. But Southwest, United, Delta, British Airways now going nonstop to London. There's so many exciting things happening. And let's face it, we had a football team that just went to Ireland in front of 74,000 people. They played football against the Minnesota Vikings, who are still in town to play the Browns this weekend, not in Ireland, but in Europe. They're going to be in London. So the world is, as big as it is, it's getting smaller every day. And that's what amazes me about this place. As small as it is, it continues to grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And these graduates who flourish, maybe not on a field of athletics, but in the classroom, go on to do big things. And maybe just because I'm more sensitive towards it now, Josh Kale, state representative, so many people have graduated from Geneva College. It's a wonderful place, but it's continuing to make history every day.
Well, it's a three-pronged approach here. Let's face it. I mean, we're at a Christian school. They're getting a faith-based education that's allowing for a standard to be built. The education in the classroom with the professors who really do care about students. They're not just here to do research. And then the other thing I think is what happens with our student athletes here. I think our student athletes are absolutely taught by some really, really good coaches on what it means, on the court, on the track, on the baseball field, on the football field, and how does that reflect life. So you put the three together, at a very, very small place. And
some of the most incredible periods of this football program, your early days here, but in past generations, what do you have to do, or is it even possible to reclaim some of that magic moving forward for future generations to put new plaques and little statements on the wall?
Obviously, that's the question that every organization asks. And I think the first thing you have to do is define what is success. What do you want to achieve? Because success looks different to a lot of people. And if it's about winning championships, then you have to make the commitment to do that. And with that comes is finding coaches and players, administrators, and having everything line up to that. And I will say this, that Al Davis took that approach. All right? Al Davis was a really sharp football guy. He took that approach. Is that the Rooney approach? The Rooney approach to me was more built on a family approach of
more loyalty.
Built on loyalty, getting people that you can depend on and that you can count, build on character, and finding people who loved football.
But do you understand what's also happening? And we're going to end on this note. Don't forget, this Saturday night, 7:30, Grove City on television, but I'd like you to come to Reeve Stadium under the stars and to watch it in person. But do you realize the athletes that you get today to play football, with all of the other things that are out there, are maybe some of the most passionate football players in the history of the game, because there are alternatives, but they've decided to play football for a reason, because it supersedes all the other athletic possibilities out there, because they just love football.
You have to love this, and with football, you have to love it. You can't like it. It's just too physical of a sport to just casually participate in it. And I would say this: we go back to the days when people were playing here and they were working jobs in the mill in the morning, taking a class here or there, and then going to play football. Come on. I think back in the day there was a passion too. It just never got broadcasted all over the media and all over TV and whatever we have now, because that was the way you did it.
You like the world now the way it looks?
I
Frustrates you a little bit? I was driving down 7th Avenue coming and looking at all these different houses, and I was thinking back. I live in the present because I look to the future, but you can't help but sampling the past. When there were people working in the mills, the manufacturing, the Armstrongs, the B&Ws, two major facilities right here in Beaver Falls. Everybody came home and ate at the same time, where they were doing, swing shift work, 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7. A lot more population, graduating like 500 at Beaver Falls High School. Just, could we ever even hope to see something like that again? Maybe not in our lifetime, but in this region?
I think the example of the airport that you gave is a great one. I mean, if we continue to look in the past and say we can't, we won't. If we continue to look in the past and look at what we have and say these are the opportunities we must do in the future, then you have to have the resource and you have to have enough people that believe in it. And I've seen it here in the way the football program's been built. When you get enough people that actually believe in what you're doing and are all headed in that direction, it's going to happen. Okay? Looking back at the past looks at our heritage, and we have a great heritage.
Yep.
But I got to tell you, to be the football coach of 33 years at one institution, the one thing that we have done here is we have had to stay ahead of the curve, and we have had to change things that we did. And some of the things that we changed were effective for a short period of time. Other things that we changed were effective for a long period of time. We went to a triple option offense because nobody saw it. We stayed in it too long. Okay? It is what it is. But the competition
pretty good.
Very few people have an idea of the competition in football in the President's Athletic Conference. Very few people. It is very, very good. Very good.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.